Any comment on, her perhaps throwing her team under the bus at Indy, with saying cars where she's ever driven and going on in a little drama queen sort of deal?
One thing one thing, I'm sitting here with my teammate, and that's one thing with, these guys is, I've learned that your team comes first. And I think I really understood that a lot now looking back at it and making relationships with my team and my crew members. I mean, this is their livelihood. They don't just come to the racetrack to be here. They come here to win, and they live and breathe this sport as much as I do. And, looking back at the results and stuff like that, I mean, we're out there running third at Daytona. I'm sitting there thinking, this is my dream, but it's all these guys that are making it possible. And, you got to have your support team. And that's, I think, is where I struggled the last 3 years. But now I really found ground and make sure that my backbone is my team and my guys. So with what she did, I'm not really sure where, she's coming from with it. But I know for a fact that my guys will be first and foremost in everything that I do from now on.
Michigan. Frank, start us off. Talk about your morning here at Michigan.
Really pretty good. We come right off the truck. I think we ended up fourth quickest. Did that pretty early in the run. We've only run, I think, 7 laps total so far. So just working on some stuff on the front geometry, trying to make the car turn better, as we all heard everybody saying they're tight, and that's typical Michigan. And so we're just trying to make it turn better without getting too free up off it too. So so far so good. So
okay. Justin.
I wish it was that smooth. We unloaded and we were really tight in and really loose in the middle and about wrecked on that first lap. So we've only done about, I think, 4 or 5 laps today. We know what the problem is. It's just, when you come to these tests, you kind of hope that you unload good so you can learn some things and fine tune some things, and then you end up spending the day just trying to get a race car out of it to start that process. But it's better to do that today than here in practice. So I think we made progress in that we know what we need to fix this afternoon, so hopefully we can get on the program and get it rolling.
Okay. Questions for Frank and Justin? Jeff.
Frank, what can you learn from coming here? You've been here a lot of times. What can you learn?
You would think I would know it all by now, right? But now, these cars are so different every year that you come back and the new technology that we're keeping applying to as the coil-bound setups and things that, 4 or 5 years ago, if they'd have told us to run these kind of springs at these cars, we'd have laughed at them. So, every year, you come here, you leave the last year. We ran fairly decent here last year in our race we had last year, but we weren't the fastest car. So our goal was to be the fastest car when we get back, and hopefully this is the same car we ran at Texas. It ran pretty well there, and we're trying to make it a little bit better here.
Price.
Hey, Frank, you've become, Mount Rushmore. You're the face of ARCA. But I mean, you see all these young kids coming in and out of here, and all these kids coming with these wide eyes and ideals. Hey, I win a title, I'm going to be out of here, and all that kind of stuff. 9 championships. You're here. Has it been by choice? Has it been by just fate? What's kept you in this series for as long and as successful as you've been?
Well, first of all, we've had some really wonderful sponsors over the years with Advanced Auto Parts initially, and then the National Pork Board, and now with the Ansel and Menards. So, as we all know, this is a money-driven sport, and if the money that they have is this is the best place that we can race, this is where we're going to race. It's about, I don't know, Justin probably has a better idea, but I'm thinking probably a third what it takes to do a truck deal. It's probably a 6th or 7th what it takes to do a nationwide deal, and we don't even want to talk about the next one. So, it's where we could afford where to be. Had a really, really wonderful career, and this is my home. So that's the way it worked out, and it's okay.
Have you ever had those instances though where you see guys who frankly aren't as talented as you get that opportunity? Have you ever said, why isn't that not happening?
Yeah, that damn guy in the 24 car over there. I mean, Jeff Boo, but no. You always second guess it. But I have had a few opportunities to run in actually, this is the site of my very first Nextel Cup, or what was it, Winston Cup, I think then, race. And one of the things I took from that is, I think, given the opportunity with everything that those guys have to throw at those races, that I felt like I could be competitive. I don't know that I'm going to go out and dominate or anything like that, like I've had such great success here, but I thought I could compete, and the guys treated me really well when I got to do it. So that was okay.
Still enjoying it looks like.
Oh yeah, this is here last couple races we've run a lot better, and the Toledo race, I heard the questions about Toledo and Michigan, comparisons. There are no comparisons. They're absolutely right, but what an intense race that was, and the short track racing. I think that's what ARCA is all about. And you know, that race was a great race up there. Had a standing room only crowd, so that was really cool. But you know, you get to race on a Saturday night or Sunday afternoon in a race car. That's what you want to do.
Okay, back here then, Mike.
Kind of to both of you, talking about you still being in ARCA, and that's a good thing, but is there a mentality, maybe like some of the young drivers, this is maybe for both of you, kind of hypothetically, is there young guys that would say, well, I'd rather move up the Cup and be a 30th place car as opposed to staying in ARCA and being a top 5 car?
I think everybody's got different plans, different goals, different ideas. I came in that way. I came into ARCA in 2007, you know, with like 2 years I'm gonna be in a Cup car and I'm gonna be a star. Right. And then I started learning about the sport, and I went, you know, in 2008 I was able to parlay the year that I had in ARCA in 07 into a great opportunity in trucks, and I went there and you know, it's a very difficult and different environment up there, and Frank knows that. I mean, it's very, very different once you leave the ARCA garage and get involved in that from the business standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, from sponsor standpoint, all that. So for me, you know, I went road racing last year. I did some ARCA races. I did some nationwide races. I kind of just did a bunch of different racing and made the decision for me just to kind of, you know, do something that was, go back to doing something that was true to my heart, that I really enjoyed. You know, I'm 29 years old. I'm not that 19-year-old guy that's on his way up anymore. And for me, I've enjoyed myself in ARCA, you know, more than probably any other series I've ever raced in. I'm trying to make a home here. I think you've got some guys in the series that, you know, obviously everybody would love the opportunity to, you know, as a competitor, you want to compete at the highest level that you can. Everybody would love that opportunity, but I think everybody's in a different situation. I mean, those opportunities, if you've got some backing and you got sponsorship, you know, at any point, any of these guys can go do that stuff. They can just go make a couple phone calls and get in, right now especially, in some pretty decent equipment. So I think everybody's on a different game plan, but for me being 29, having been through this before and seen that, you know, I worked really, really hard to get the opportunities there and just didn't enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying this.
Well, I think there has to be something said about being competitive, you know, and you know, the odd part about it is you could go and be a starting Parker or a 38th place car, which is absolutely no slouch. It's difficult even to do that in the Sprint Cup Series and be a very rich driver by the end of the season. So my wife said I should go do that. But you know, that wasn't really, you know, I really wanted to go and try and be competitive. So, you know, and as we all know, we see it, the horror stories every year where a young kid's got a good sponsor, he's going to go up to the next level. You know, he runs 10 races and the sponsor's gone, the owner's gone, and he's back out without any money or any place to go race. So it's a very difficult and you have to be very careful how you spend your money and how you spend your friend's money or your sponsor's money.
Now, on a side note, if a kid is an ARCA, goes to Cup for 10 races, tanks, comes back to ARCA, is there any transition back with the camaraderie in the garage, or is it like, hey, you tried it, or is it like you left ARCA and is there any kind of ill feelings?
I've never felt that way. I think that, you know, anybody that says that they're upset that somebody got to move up is just because they're jealous. You know, I mean, we all want to do that, and you know, always wanted to do that over the years. And in those 10 races, if he got paid 50% of the purse, he's probably a lot richer than he was before he left. And his sponsor is probably not, but no, I don't think that's the case at all. I think you look forward to those guys come back. Justin come back to us to run here. I'm glad he's here. He's a great quality racer. He's got a big name for us now. I mean, he's been to the other divisions. He had some success over there, and he's come back here. That's cool. That's great.
Yeah, my first weekend back, I got stopped by probably half of the ARCA staff. She came and shook my hand and said, "Welcome back." And I don't think that would happen in many other series.
Cool. Brunel?
Justin, what's perhaps the single most important thing you've learned from Frank as perhaps a driver and a person after running in other series and seeing people wreck each other and, you know, nonsense that goes on the track? I mean, what do you find in Frank that's different?
Well, one of the great things that you can learn from a guy like Frank that's a great I guess resource for all the young guys is that he's done this long enough. He knows exactly the pace of these races. He knows where he's at all times, how good his car is, and he never tries to get more out of it than is capable of, and always seems to finish, you know, where his car is capable of finishing. And I think that's something that, you know, you don't necessarily, you know, guys come into the series when they come in young, they're used to, you know, maybe like 50 or 75 lap Saturday night races, or they came out of, you know, shifter